Hello folks, welcome to another video. And yeah, it is getting, at least at nighttime, it is getting a lot cooler. It's actually really chilly actually at nighttime. So it probably won't be long till it gets too cold, and I won't make any more videos until March, April, June. So yes, today I will be smoking Drew Estate Isla Del Sol, and I did get a box of 20 of these, and see, I'm gonna take the footband off. I'm not a huge fan of these footbands. They do look nice, but they're the first thing to come off. All right, let's. Yeah, I forgot on this Lotus lighter of mine. For some reason, the intensity knob to increase and decrease the volume of the flame kind of got stuck, and the other day it came unstuck, so I'm able to get my flame pretty darn high. Before it was only half of that height. Yeah, this is a flavored cigar again with Drew Estate. Their flavors are more herbal. Yeah, and this is a dual pyramid. As you can see, the flame went down again. What the heck? Yeah, something is out of whack with this lighter. There it goes. Anyway, I have to turn it down slightly and turn it back up. Anyways, that's why you get more than one lighter, so that you don't get stuck with the. I think it's the 3-year. Of course, this is older than 3 years, so And it does. If you turn it like what I got all the way up, it will burn this. It will burn through your LNG, your gas supply, really quick. Of course, being a flavored cigar, the head or the tip is sweetened with some glucose, which I don't really care for. And I gotta slightly touch it again. So local happenings. So my cherry tomatoes are finally coming in. Yes, I was told that because I planted them like back in March, and I've been struggling with them throughout the entire summer. I was like, hey, what's going on? I asked another buddy who does some gardening. They're like, yeah, cherry tomatoes, they don't come in till like September, October. So he's like, so if you're gonna plant cherry tomatoes, plant them like in midsummer, so that by the time September, October rolls around, and they're a good 2-3 feet tall. You'll get some pretty nice. But my cherry tomato bush are actually like 6 feet tall. Well, they're between 4 to 6 feet tall, depending on the growth of some. Some are more, I guess, bushy than tall. And right now, the majority of them are still green. And yeah, I took one off the vine and tasted it, and all I gotta say is it's a very green taste to describe it. And of course, they do ripen off the vine. So if you see some that are beginning to turn orange, you can go ahead and pick those and just leave them out on the counter, because if you put them in the refrigerator, of course the refrigerator will slow the ripening. They'll still ripen in your crisper, but it will slow it down. So if you pick orange ones, if you want them to ripen or turn red, leave them on your counter, or leave them out in the sun. They'll turn tomato red a whole lot quicker. Yeah, this is a flavored cigar. I really can't describe the flavor. It's I can definitely taste it. It's a nice scent, a nice flavor. It's not your vanilla. It is kind of to me. It is kind of chocolatey. So I guess the closest thing I could describe this would be a chocolatey coffee-ish. But there's no bitterness to it. It is a light cigar, even though it's a dark wrapper. It's almost like a chocolatey, like a Drew Estate Java, which is of course another line of Drew Estate. But it's like a chocolatey, Java-ish type of flavor. Nice smooth draw. It is hand rolled, so it better be a smooth. Like I say, I bought a box of 20 of these, of course, online. And while you can still buy cigars online, I suggest you do. I guess for a while they were trying to make it, I guess, illegal to purchase tobacco online, including that would include cigar. You cannot. I think you can only purchase cigars, pipe tobaccos online. I don't think you can purchase cigarettes online. You can't even purchase if it's labeled as cigarette tobacco. That cannot be sold online. It's the neighbor's pool. There goes my dog. Don't know what they're barking at. Yeah, now they're having a barking fest. Hey, what are you doing running across the yard, little dog? Hold on, gotta get the light out of my eyes. Yeah, the old hound dog, he's out there too, but he doesn't bark. He's yes, in his younger years, bark machine. Like I said, we even got a noise complaint against him for barking at. He was barking at a squirrel. He was barking at a squirrel that was up the tree in the backyard. It's like today, it's a Saturday. It's a Saturday afternoon. We were out. Me and the wife were out shopping. So of course, when we were home, he wasn't barking. So I'm assuming he was barking the hours that we were out shopping. And I guess some neighbor just, they didn't like it. He's not a very big dog, and he's like a 20-pound dog, so he's not very big. But of course, as you can hear, small dogs, their barks are just as loud. It's just yappy sounding. Yeah, so that's the local happenings. My holy basil, which I have in containers, they're easy to grow. If you know a buddy or a gardening buddy who's got some holy basil, just have them make sure that when because they grow kind of in bunches. Just make sure that he gets you one that has some root attached to it. Dog, get off from underneath my chair. Hey. Get back. Yuck. Now I got dog slobber on me. Move it. Just have to give him a little nudge. Like I said, he's 19 years old. He's half deaf, half blind, and sometimes when he gets into a spot, because there's some stuff over here to my right, and he got into it, he's trying to push his way through, and had to kind of like nudge him. Hey, stupid. It's not the way to go. Yeah, go back inside, you. Not that way, Fido. No. Yes, and of course he shook his slobber all over my leg. Yeah, so that's local happenings. There's I guess the autumn harvest. I guess you can call it autumn harvest. My Thai chili, like I said, I planted them kind of late because my pickle cucumbers failed. They were eaten by bugs. I sprayed it with neem oil, and I sprayed it with a organic pesticide. And yeah, the organic pesticide works when you spray it. It's like these little black bugs. They look almost like little ants, but they're not. when I spray it on them, I can see them, you know, crawling up and dying. Then they're like these little white furry pill bug looking bugs. Yeah, those die too when I spray the organic pesticide. I can see them just, you know, they're moving. I spray it and then you know, they stop moving. The neem oil doesn't really kill bugs. It's more of a deterrent. So my suggestion is, you know, to buy neem oil and to buy some sort of a pesticide. You know, if you want to go organic, it is a spray. It's a spray bottle. So you can get the you know, if you don't want to, you know, get an actual pesticide. I don't know what. I read the bottle. I forgot what chemicals are in the bottle, but it does kill the bugs. So after you spray the pesticide, then you want to spray a little bit of neem oil too to you know, deter the bugs from coming back. And unfortunately, my cucumbers, you know, you know, I fought the bugs. The bugs won. So you know, the cucumbers started, the plants all started to die. So I was like, well, yeah, screw this. I'm tearing, you know, I'm ripping them out. It's like, well, I gotta plant something. And I said, okay, let me try some Thai chili. And you know, I'm not sure. I'm hoping before it gets too cold that I at least get some chili plants. All right, so on to of course, Ukraine was on like the back of my mind. It wasn't on the front. It's now on the front of my mind because, you know, there's a possibility of World War III, you know, and even worse, a nuclear war. You know, and people, you know, and of course, you know, the MSM in the West, even guys like Crowder, who are supposedly, you know, based news in the West. You know, he's even talking about, well, you know, Russia's losing. They're getting beat by Ukraine. It's like, wait a minute, man. You know, so they're having to draft all of these people. So as I state in the other video, and of course, according to military experts, because I'm no military expert, but I can read. They're saying that Russia has anywhere between 10 million to 20 million soldiers. And of course, their population is about 150 million people, so it's not a small country. That is a big country. Landmass size, and yeah, they just incorporated 15% of Ukraine. So basically, Donetsk, Luhansk, Zavarov, I don't know if I'm pronouncing these correctly, but I'm trying, and Kherson, the K is silent. Those four. Well, I inhale some smoke. I'm gonna drink water. Yeah, I gotta keep drinking water if I'm gonna be talking. So those four territories make up about 15% of Ukraine. And like I said, Ukraine is a big country, landmass-wise. So they are now officially part of Russia. And of course, Putin made his state of the, I guess his State of the Union address. I don't know if Russia's a union, but basically his address to Russia. And the weird thing is, I couldn't find it nowhere on YouTube, nowhere on the alternate social media sites, BitChute, Rumble, or Odyssey. even RT didn't. They had like you know, a minute, a couple of videos that were like a minute long of Putin's speech. Of course, these were highlights, I guess, of his speech. Then I found a channel where it was someone who actually, they were doing like more of a commentary of Putin's speech, but they had the 50-minute speech that Putin did. I think it's I saw on Rumble, the Stu something channel. Stu Peters, yeah. So if you want to check it out, it's Stu Peters. Stu Peter show on Rumble has it. I think it's one of the guys that's on his channel that's doing the commentary on the speech. I'm like, well, I agree with a lot of the things that Putin said. And no, I don't think Putin, the Russians, sabotaged their own pipeline. Because number one, and everyone who says it, like, well, number one, they got an on-off switch. So when they hit the off switch, whatever's in the pipe, continues to flow. And from what my understanding is that these pipes are huge, and if it falls below a certain bar, which I guess bars is I guess a measure of a positive pressure. So if it falls underneath a certain bar, I guess in this case it was like they were saying it was at 150 bar, and suddenly both the pipelines fell to like 70 bars. And I'm thinking, well, Russia spent like $20 billion laying those pipes. They have an on-off switch, so why would they sabotage their own pipes? Of course, everyone's going, well, it's got to be the U.S. One, the U.S. has the capability. Two, Biden, is caught on, he's on video saying he's going to take care of the Nord Stream, not Nordstrom. Yeah, he was on video saying he will take care of the Nord Stream pipes if Putin invades I was going to say Kuwait. If Putin invades Ukraine. So one, you got him on video saying it. The CIA, 3 weeks prior to the pipes blowing up, were warning Germany that the Nord Stream pipes might be sabotaged. Yeah, and of course, in my opinion, why would the Russians do it? They're going to lose money. Because the Germans, Europeans were still they're still getting gas, and they're still paying Russia. So why would Russia blow up the pipeline? And one, now they're not supplying gas. Two, they're not getting paid. Like I said, the pipeline has been shut off on the Russian end. So again, whatever's in the pipe that's flowing into Europe is still flowing. So then they're still receiving gas. So once whatever is left in there flows out, that's it. No more gas from Russia. And they're saying that there's a pipeline coming from Norway. I didn't know Norway even has natural gas. But supposedly there's a pipeline coming from Norway, but it's going into Poland. And yeah, so I guess from Poland it's going to be supplied to Europe, or the Poles going to be like, nah, Europe, we need this gas for our people. If you guys want it, go ask the Norwegians to build a line to Europe. And yes, sabotaging another country's property, especially a money-making property, is definitely an act of war. I don't care how you look at it. So yeah, so people talking about, okay, man, look, we are an inch away from World War III, and if U.S. and NATO declares war on Russia, China's going to join on the Russian side. North Korea will definitely attack South Korea. Of course, Kamala Harris attended the Abe funeral this last Tuesday. And when that was done, she went to South Korea. Of course, when she was there, the North Koreans were shooting off rockets like, bitch, get away. And she made a weird statement. North Korea is our ally. I'm like, wait a minute, you know, maybe that's a slip of the tongue, you know, from her. Well, to my knowledge, North Korea is not the ally. It's not an ally of the United States. Yeah, but if war pops off in Europe, yeah, the North Koreans are definitely going to do something to the South Koreans. That's why South Korea has mandatory military service. Again, it's men 18 to 25, so you got like a 7-year window. So, you know, you want to go to college, you know, you want to do a little bit, you know, you want to go get into the workforce, or get in some work, make a little bit of money. And I think it's 6 week of basic. So 16 months, 6 week of basic. So you basically got 14 months just sitting around. Like I said, I got some Korean buddies, and they're like, "Yeah, you just sit around for you just sit around for the 16 month." They don't get deployed, unlike the United States. South Korea doesn't have bases all over the U.S. Ah man, my dinner is coming back up. It was a fatty dinner. Yes, and Russia's the same. Russia has mandatory military service for men between 18 to 25. And these men, once they get out of the service, I don't know how long it is. You know, it could be 16 months like South Korea, or it could be 2 years. You know, most countries. I would think it's between a year to 2 years, basically. So basically, once these guys come out, they are reservist. And if you know if something kicks off like this, you know, this special military operation, and Ukraine kicks off, you know, these reservists can get called up, and that's what's happening. The 300,000 men who are being called up are these reservists. These are the guys who went through the mandatory military service. It's also men who are volunteering. So if you want to volunteer, you can do so. So they're taking. Let's see if the ash fell down. I almost hit my foot. So a good thing I had my foot positioned. So they're taking volunteers and they're calling up reservists. Come on now. Yeah, that's a nice band. I mean, whoop. Had the puff there a couple of times. Yeah, and I can. It looks like I don't know how to describe it, but I'm hoping this is not tunneling, because it looks like it might be tunneling. Basically, tunneling is when the wrapper doesn't burn, but the binder and the fillers are burning. Usually, when that happens, it's a very hot smoke. But I think, yeah, it could be tunneling. Anyways, it's a nice cigar, so who knows? Shouldn't be doing that. I don't experience many. I experience canoeing. Basically, canoeing is when one side burns faster than the other, but I don't really get a whole lot of tunneling from the cigars that I smoke. I guess tunneling could occur if the wrapper is a bit wet, and then the binder and then the fillers are like dry. Okay, it's puffing nice. It's puffing nice now. Yeah, so that's who Putin is calling up. Is the 300,000 soldiers or volunteers, and I guess reservists, basically men who's gone through the the 2-year mandatory service. And of course, military experts are saying, if the U.S. and NATO get into a kinetic war, which I don't think is going to happen, So basically, if old guys like me, get called up, if high school boys and old guys like me, basically high school boys' dads, if we get called up, you're about to lose the war. So basically, that's what they're doing. Supposedly, that's what they're doing in Ukraine. Is they're calling up, old guys, high school boys, women, pretty much all of the Russian weapons that they have accrued, have been blown up or used up. So now pretty much all of the weapons that they're using are NATO and US supplied. So all of the rockets, artilleries that they're using to shell Donetsk is NATO and US supplied. And and I noted, and I said it, come Friday, and it was Friday, today's Saturday, yesterday was Friday, when Putin signed the referendum to officially make those 4 regions part of Russia. So if Ukraine is still continuing to shell, bomb, or rocket, a rocket attack Donetsk, Lugansk, or any of those other regions, now they are, I guess, attacking Russian soil, and the Russians can attack with, I guess, impunity. Because I was wondering why did they keep calling it, special military operation? Yeah, it's kind of like when the U.S. first time and second time went into Iraq. They call it a military police action. Same thing when the U.S. went into Afghanistan. It was a police action for 20 years. Yeah, the U.S. never actually officially declared war on Al Qaeda, or officially declared war on Afghanistan or Iraq. And no, Putin is not going to send Russian soldiers into the U.S. That would be suicide. Like I said, if the war gets kinetic, it's going to be over in Europe. It's going to be on Russian soil. No, we're not going to have a Red Dawn. If you haven't seen the movie Red Dawn, definitely check out the 1980s version of Red Dawn with Patrick Swayze. I wouldn't recommend the remake. I think it was either 2021 or it came out this year, the Red Dawn remake. which instead of making it the Russians, the communist Russians attacking, they made it the communist North Koreans attacking the U.S., which is laughable. And even back then, as a kid, because in the movie they came through the U.S. Mexico border, and they were attacking. They were attacking towns in southern Texas, southern New Mexico, and the people who lived the people who lived in border towns were fighting off the Russians. And as a kid, living at that time was still during the Cold War. To me, it was like, hey man, this could really happen, man. What the, I'm scared, kind of thing. But of course, nothing like that will ever happen. Again, Russia is too far away, even though they have 10 to 20 million soldiers. Launching an offensive on the U.S. And yes, if Russia, attacks U.S. soil, every guy, every able-bodied, even old dudes like me would suit up, and fight off the Russians. That's a no-brainer. It's not a question at all. But if the war becomes kinetic, you're a kid, You know, if you're not, you know, if you're an older person who's got, you know, kids who are young adults, you know, the 18 to 25 will be the first ones drafted. It's a neighbor's poodle. Yeah, now I'm beginning to taste a little bit of bitterness. It could be the chemical that they use for the you know, for the flavor. I don't know. Supposedly the infusing process infuses into the wrapper, not into the binder or into the fillers. So supposedly the infusion process just infuses into the wrapper part, so that, you know, it doesn't. But to me, it seems like it infused into the binder and into the fillers, because they leave it in the infusing room for like 3 months. So yeah, so if you have a son and daughter, I guess women, you're part of the draft now, but they're going to draft men first before they draft women. So if you got a so if you got a kid, like I said, the people who are going to be fighting are going to be your kid and my kid. So if you got, you know, any a son who's a young adult between 18 to 25, they're probably going to go because they're already talking about drafting people. If it gets kinetic, which again I don't think it will. Yeah, that's the thing with these flavor cigars, that the bitterness. I think the bitterness comes from the flavoring. It's the same with the more expensive, the Java line. These aren't quite expensive as the Java cigars, or as the Java line. Of course, before I bought a box of these, I did try like 1 or 2. I was like, hey, this thing's actually pretty nice tasting, pretty nice flavor, nice scent, nice taste. Yeah, it might be tunneling, but we'll see. I'll keep smoking it. It's beginning to canoe a little bit on one side, but we'll see. But keep smoking it. We'll find out. So hopefully, yeah, I don't think it's going to get kinetic. Someone's going to step in, or you know, or something's going to come up to where someone goes, hey, look, guys, you know, we need to cool it. You know, Putin got what he wants. He got the 4 region. You know, 15% of Ukraine. You know, yes, Russia's got their soldiers in these 4 regions, but the Russians are backing off. There hasn't really been much fighting in that area since the 4 regions have been incorporated. I don't think Putin wants the whole of Ukraine. He basically wants a buffer territory, which is what he got. He got his buffer territory, and I think that's what he was after. Because, you know, I mean, you could tell. And as for the referendum, people going, wait a minute, man, there's no freaking way you can get 97%, 98%. So basically, in Luhansk, it's basically 30. I think I was listening to RT News, so it's like 30%. And of course, this one, and in this referendum, to vote in this referendum, you only had to be 18 or older. So if you're an adult, you can vote. You didn't have to register and stuff like that to vote. So they're saying something like 30% of the adult, or the people who are eligible to vote, voted in those 2 regions. So in Luhansk, it was like 97% voted. Of those 30% who did vote, 97% voted yes. And then in Donetsk, 98% voted yes. And I can see those 2 regions voting. You know, I'm surprised it's not 100%. Yeah, because those 2 regions have been getting shelling rocket attacks, bombs for the last 8 years since 2018. So we're 8 years going on 9 years now. Wait, so 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I guess it would be 8 years. It's going. Yeah, 2023 will be going on 9 years. So those two regions, yes, I was expecting those two regions to be in the 90 plus in the yes column. So it wasn't like 97 or 98% of the people voted. It was more like 30% of the adults in those two regions voted, or 30+% of the adults in those two regions voted, and the yes column was like 97, 98%. In the other regions that didn't get shelling as much, like Zavros and Kherson, was like I think 63% in one region, and the other was like 67% in the yes column. So that would make more sense. Yeah, and of course in those regions they also have a larger mix of Russians and Ukrainian living in those regions. And as for the Russians fleeing Russia because of the draft, the non-existing draft, it's actually the opposite. It's the Ukrainians and the Russians who live in Ukraine are actually trying to flee into Russia. So right now Russia is saying, hey, if you can make it into Russian territory, if you can make it into Russia, the motherland itself, we will give you guys citizenship. So it's like an open invitation for Ukrainians and for Russians living in that region. If you can make it into Russia and you want to be a Russian citizen, hey, come on in, kind of thing. And that's what's happening. It's actually the opposite. It's Ukrainians, who don't want to live under, I guess, Nazi rule, who are fleeing into Russia. And that's it for that. And again, hopefully it doesn't get kinetic, because like a lot of military experts are saying, if it gets kinetic, it may turn nuclear. And Russia has 3 times the they got 3 times, or supposedly, I don't know. That's what these military experts are saying, that Russia's got 3 times the nukes of the United States. So basically 3 times the nuke of the West. Get a drink of water. And of course you got China. And who knows, they may have 10 times the nuke of the West. So again, the West got too much to lose to make this go kinetic. Unfortunately for the European folks, they're going to freeze unless the Poles decides to share some of that oil coming, the gas coming in from Norway. Yes, the U.S. Under Trump was sending LNG to Europe. Unfortunately, there is no transatlantic LNG pipeline. The way they were doing it is that they're taking these huge cargo ships, and you can look them up. These I guess natural gas cargo ships. You can tell which one they are. They got all of the pipes up on the deck of the ship. Yep, there goes. Look at ash fell off again. And yes, it is a lot cooler tonight, and hopefully it stays like this until like mid-October. Yeah, this is October 1st. So what they do is they take the natural gas, they cool it down. Once you cool it down enough, I don't know how cold it's got to get. I'm imagining it's got to go into like the minus 100 degrees Celsius, probably. Then it turns into a solid. So natural gas turns into a solid when you cool it down enough. His neighbors came home, I guess. And yes, and of course these ships got huge containers, and they got, I guess, all of these probably liquid nitrogen that's cooling the tanks, keeping it cool. And these ships were, and they're not doing it now, but under Trump they were going back and forth across the Atlantic. And if you can imagine if one of these containers, erupted, or if a torpedo or a missile, a anti-ship missile were to hit one of these, one of these container ships, is basically natural gas that's under high pressure, frozen. It would probably be a pretty big mushroom cloud. Everybody in the ship would be dead. But luckily, it didn't happen. I don't think the U.S. right now is in a position to supply any LNG to Europe. No, we're barely producing enough for ourselves. Even here in Texas, where we use a lot of natural gas, the price has gone up. And yes, we got tons and tons, metric tons of natural gas under our feet. But because of the EPA, we're not able to, pump out as much as we would like to. So yeah, so unfortunately, you guys in Europe, you're going to freeze your butt off this winter. It's probably going to be a lot of they're rioting already. Okay, they're not rioting. They're out protesting. But I have a feeling the protests are going to turn into riots once people start freezing and people start starving. Because not only they're now sanctioning Russia even more. I think they call it the eighth level or the seventh level of sanctions on Russia. So now they're sanctioning personal hygiene supplies from Russia. So you can't buy like kind of like me. I do DE shaving. And I haven't done a DE shaving video in a while. I've done one back in June. I found it on my phone, so I'll probably upload it. It was around the time of the Roe v. Wade hitting the news. I did the video, completely forgot about it, so I'll probably get that edited, uploaded. And so if you want to get some. So if you live in Europe, you want to get some Russian DE blades. That you won't be able to get that. Russian toilet paper. So it looks like Europe depends on Russia for supplies, for food and supply, much like the United States depend on China for supplies and food. So now I kind of want to get a hold of some Russian toilet paper. Just to see what the hubbub is. Of course, here in the U.S., our toilet paper is, of course, made in America, luckily. It's one of the few things that's made in the U.S., at least. But yeah, I kind of want, I guess I'll jump on eBay. Maybe Amazon. I guess I'll put in Russian toilet paper and see what comes up. Maybe order a couple of packs. Give me a try out some TP that Putin uses. not used ones, of course. Yeah, so basically, yeah, so they're now sanctioning toilet paper, personal hygiene items, deodorants, shampoos, shaving supplies. Okay, so I guess I'll move on to the next. Been on this one long enough. I'm gonna close it out. All right, so basically Hollywood. I didn't see the driveway light come on. Anyways. I think it's the old hound dog. I don't know what he's doing in the house. He limps around, bump into things, gets stuck in corners. He always had a hard time backing up. And as it turns out, that's a thing with dogs. Some dog breeds have a hard time backing up, and he's one of those dogs. Even when he was a puppy or a younger dog, if he got stuck like in a behind the couch, it's like he won't back up. To get out, I have to move the couch. Okay, dog, now you can turn around and get out. So Hollywood is blackwashing a lot of stuff. If you watch commercials, and I got nothing against it. No, these companies get a tax break, so by all means, you know, I don't watch TV that much. I don't watch TV that much, anyways. So of course, the latest victim is, of course, the Little Mermaid. Of course, the Little Mermaid is a Dutch children's story. So it makes no sense that they now if they're going to blackwash the Little Mermaid, at least make her, like, say, you know, a Little Mermaid that's in, you know, Lake Michigan or something, you know, or in Lake Zimbabwe in Africa. And of course, it's facing a lot of backlash from people. I think when Disney released their teaser trailer, it had like 15 million views. And it's like 1.5 million downvotes to like 400,000 upvotes, and most of those, and I'm betting most of those upvotes are probably bots. And yes, YouTube, you know, you need to take care of your bots, because every time I upload a video, make a comment on a video, I'm always getting hit by bots. No, please go to WhatsApp. Yeah. And these are Chinese bots, because they keep asking you to go to WhatsApp. You know, I'll go to this website. You know, I got a deal for you. Now I'll get like 2 or 3 of these bots per videos or per comments that I make. And yeah, and it doesn't matter which video. It could be you know, some DIY video, you know, guy showing how to build a chicken coop. You know, you do a comment, hey man, that's a nice chicken coop. Think I'll try building one. Next thing you know, hey man, would you check out my WhatsApp? You know, I got a great deal. I got a great deal on products for you. Like, what? Are you kidding me? See here, it was and of course, folks are saying, hey, you know, if it was reversed, you know, if they make a white Shaka Zulu, you know, or a white color, you know, the color purple. If they made a color purple and made all the ladies in that you know the Oprah Winfrey movie, you know, if they made Oprah Winfrey, you know, white. Yeah, looks like it is canoeing, so let me fix it. There we go. Yeah, canoeing is easy to fix. You just got to touch up on the spot that on the side that's not burning as much. So it might be canoeing and tunneling. Yeah, I'm getting to the end of the cigar. I should probably put this down. Hey, little puppy, what are you doing? Oh, looking for bugs? Oh, she's going inside. I guess it's getting a little too chilly for her. But Quantum Leap, I saw a, I guess a teaser or a trailer for it, and so basically they turned Sam into an Asian guy. So watching the trailer, the guy looks Korean. Yeah, looks like the it's like, let me shake it, get the all of the little all the little bits to fall out. Yeah, I was watching. I was like, well, because it shows him waking up. He's like, oh man, you know, he's kind of dazed, and he looks in the mirror and shows another person, another guy's face. I was like, Quantum Leap? So they made Sam an Asian guy. Now in a situation like that, they could have made him black, Hispanic, or whatever. But in something like Quantum Leap, where you can change the race of the character and it wouldn't affect the the movie or the TV show. I think Quantum Leap was on for like 3 seasons. I didn't really watch much of it. I watched like episodes here and there. wasn't a really big fan of it. I think it was on. Well, I guess when the show was out the air, they started airing on the Sci-Fi Channel, and of course the Sci-Fi Channel had whatchamacallit, the one with MacGyver, Stargate SG4. yeah, now that show I actually liked, and I actually watched like pretty much all of the episodes until MacGyver, I forget his real name, until MacGyver left the show, and it was just the other cast that was left on the show, and yeah, it pretty much tanked after that. I was hoping that they would actually make a Stargate SG-4 movie with the MacGyver guy in it, but they never did. I think they made like a TV movie. What's the dog doing over there? She went inside for like 5 seconds and came back out. In the case of Stargate SG-5, yeah, they could reboot Stargate SG-5 and race swap and just make all the characters black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. And again, it wouldn't affect the way it wouldn't affect the show. But something that's classic, like the Little Mermaid, race swapping it, or something like King Arthur, where they made a black King Arthur. Yeah, stuff like that. It would be kind of like doing a race swapping of Shaka Zulu, or Roots, or even New Jack City. If you swapped out the Wesley Snipes character and all of his family and friends that was in the movie. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. If they race swapped out those characters to white characters, yeah, that would screw it up. It's like, wait a minute, so shows like that, movies like that, Sanford and Son. If you race swap Sanford and Son to white folks, it would ruin that show, because So yes, so there are. God darn it! Yeah, it's too much. It's too much cigar chunks coming off my mouth. Maybe it's the way I'm holding it. Let me try to squeeze it. Because yeah, I'm smoking it down to the nub, and I said I should put it down. So yeah, so there are some TV shows, some movies that, yeah, you could race swap and it wouldn't matter. The movie or the show would still make sense. It would still be enjoyable. But Hollywood seems to have this fascination with race swapping characters. And yeah, and it's not going to end anytime soon. They're going to keep doing it. Yeah. Trying to think of a recent one that they've. Hopefully they don't do a race swapping of Blade, like a Blade reboot. That would definitely suck if they turn Blade into a white guy, or an Asian guy, or a Hispanic. But more likely that won't happen. I've yet to see something of that magnitude get race swapped to a white person. And of course, I guess Asians are white adjacent, so I guess the Asian guy replacing Sam in Quantum Leap is I guess it's not that big of a leap. Quantum Leap. Anyways, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your smoke, your cigar. Yeah, I smoked this one down to the nub. It is a good cigar. It kind of canoed and tunneled on me a little bit. Enjoy your cigarette, your weed where it's legal. Enjoy your vape. And yeah, they're going after vapes, man. I don't know why. Their excuse they're using is that kids are smoking, so kids are like skipping cigarettes and they're going straight to vapes. Or it could just be or it could just be a lot of people are just vaping. Again, even people who never smoked cigarettes, cigars, or whatever, they're picking up vaping, and of course I guess the major concern was that people are inhaling metals. All the vapes are still made in China, and when vapes were first being made, they were being cheaply and of course made in China, where people were inhaling parts of metal parts or whatever that was part of the I guess the heating coil, because there's a heating coil, so that when you inhale the liquid goes through this heating coil, which turns to vapor, and it was chunks of metals coming off of that and getting into people's mouth, lung, and things like that. And you know, they'll call it metal lungs, or no, there's a medical term for it. But of course, I talk to people who vape. They're like, no, hey, look, they're saying at the beginning, yes, there was some cheap Chinese one, or they're all Chinese, that were doing it. But you know, they're saying if you buy a higher grade, you know, made in China vape, the metals. So basically, people aren't inhaling metals anymore. But the main concern is that kids are the ones who are vaping, and I guess my guess is if kids are vaping, because you can buy vape that has 0 nicotine in it. So if you just want to vape for like the you know, the flavor, you know, you enjoy the taste and the flavor of the vape, you can actually buy, you know, 0 nicotine vapes, and you don't have to buy, you know, vapes that have nicotine in it. But again, you know, you're not going to be able to control these kids, and of course they're going to buy the one that's got nicotine. Anyways, it's gone on long enough. Thanks for watching, and enjoy yourself.